Dude, nice. I am live for CornHub episode 8, which is a fantastic place for me to be live on YouTube with my audience, all 0 of them. I think that generally speaking, I should come up with like a drop dead time for my CornHubs because I didn't announce I was going to go live to anybody today. And I think that if I hang out in here for 15 minutes without people joining, I think that needs to be like the time where I'm like not gonna do it. You know what I mean? Because I guess I just could create like hour-long videos, but then I really need to prepare more talking points than I'm currently preparing. You know what I mean? Because so far I've been able to kind of just ride from the seat of my ass in terms of not really preparing anything for my audience, which is totally fine. I enjoy it a lot. I see one person that's hanging out in here with me already. Show yourself. Let me know who you are. That way I can know who it is. Oh my God, there's 4 people now. Wow. Well, now I have a verifiable audience. That's fantastic. How are we doing tonight? Is everyone doing good? Jaden Armstead says, "I'm first, Poppy." Always good to see you, Jaden. It's always a great time to have you. Dude, can you believe that we like actually know the names and the colleges of all of the like lieutenants of Doge at this point? Isn't that crazy? We literally just have their Corn Papa, you're back from the war, says Jinx. I am back from the war. Slendy says, we truly live in the digital age. Yeah, I know. And some of these people are like dead ass 19 years old. 19 years old, and they're over here deciding whether or not like senior citizens are going to get like social security payments, you know, just oh, my connection is unstable. What the hell? Oh, okay. I'm back. Oh, Howdy's trying to show himself already. Yeah, stick person. Sorry, before I cut out there for a second. Was that you saying that you wanted to see my dog, or are you just mostly saying hi to me? Both are fine. Corn Papa welcomes you. Jaden Armstead says, we're in the bad place. Y'all raise your hands. Put up some prayers for shareholders real quick. Shareholders, if you can hear this. Shareholders, please know that it will be better for the world economy if JD Vance, Donald Trump, and Elon Musk don't exist anymore. Amen. Probably gonna end up on a list now because of that one. Dude, in other really funny news, it seems that Trump has kind of threaded the perfect needle now. Amen, says Eccentric Dreams. Amen, brother. Slendy says, ends up on a list like you aren't already. Yeah, I know, Slendy. I mean, almost certainly I am. Like, I have too big of a following at this point to like not be on some kind of government watch list. I'm sure that if I say something too incendiary, like I'll end up with like some kind of notice or an agent at my door. Then again, though, there are creators who are a lot bigger than me who say truly confounding stuff in terms of the level of liability that it opens them up to. So I don't necessarily know, you know, like one of the wild cards I'm actually really watching out for in terms of how exacting the government is willing to be onto its antagonistic interlocutors, I guess you could say, is Nick Fuentes, believe it or not, because I don't know if you guys ever like kept up with Nick Fuentes during Joe Biden's administration, but I did. I mean, I certainly made sure that I paid attention to what he was talking about because he had the ear of Donald Trump in 2020. And Nick Fuentes at multiple times in Joe Biden's administration, like openly railed on Trump and like shit all over him, like all the time. He is like a true opportunistic little freak. And so I could 100% see Nick Fuentes having an extremely okay, sick person. I did not say big fan of Nick Fuentes. All right, I just said I stayed up with what he was talking about because he's a very weird dude. And I don't know, man. Like Nick Fuentes, I think really could be one of those people who kind of ends up on a list because he just says some like really wild shit about Elon Musk, you know, because he's not against saying the words like, "Oh, Elon Musk should die." You know, Nick Fuentes does not have a good filter on himself at all. That's why he got doxxed for saying your body, my choice, right? Jade Armstead says, at this point, most people on TikTok, or at least leftist TikTok is on a list. People were assassinated for the bare minimum of what we talk about. Yeah, man, I know. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, the thing is too, is like, there's enough people in the security state, I think, who recognize that allowing political dissidents to feel like they at least have some sort of voice in a way that it kind of placates them and neuters them can actually be really effective. But yeah, I like completely agree with you that there's definitely a line that is not able to be crossed. Jane Armstead says, do you see that video of someone pulling up outside of his house with a gun trying to get in? I did see that. I do remember that happening to Nick Fuentes. And all I could say is that for the fact that Nick Fuentes literally got doxxed and people were actually willing to do that, I am. Oh yeah, it was a crossbow. You're right, stick person. Um, I'm very surprised that Nick Fuentes did not actually end up getting hurt, like legitimately hurt with someone's fists or something. Because clearly there was a huge portion of the internet, even down to like centrist Dems, who were revolted by his commentary after Trump won. And I don't know, man. I don't know. Like it's just it's surprising to me that like even still that guy was able to escape with basically just like a bunch of mean tweets hurled at him, right? And this is not me saying that I want people to go do that. I'm just saying because I'm not stupid enough to say that here. Um, all it is though is that I am saying that it is surprising knowing how hard people were being at that time. That he didn't end up with something. With something happening to him, right? But yeah, I don't know, guys. It's a very weird time right now. That's all I really know. What I was saying a second ago was that it seems that we watched Donald Trump kind of thread this perfect needle though of reactionary conservatism, where he was able to say that, oh, I'm going to do all these like crazy tariffs on China and Mexico only for it basically ought to be one big smoke show, which I think as has been the case now for many weeks, that Trump is making it clear that his style of governance, so long as he is like the head of state officially, is going to be freaking everyone the fuck out, actually having some kind of deal worked out in the background, and then running with the headline that comes off of announcing the deal publicly for the first time in order to make people actually feel like he did something. Because that's exactly what happened with Canada, right? Like all the things that Canada agreed to in order to placate Trump for the tariffs were actually things that had already been agreed upon in the last couple months of 2024, and they were just giving Trump a win. I'm sure that it was much the same for Mexico's president as well. But all the same, though, like it is kind of wild to me that like nothing has happened with China so far. I mean, the China tariffs are still expected to go into effect tomorrow. Sick person says, "Did you see that Trump appointed someone to the NLRB today?" No, I did not. That is fucking terrifying. Hold on, Trump NLRB. Let's see here. William Cowan is now the acting general counsel of NLRB. Okay, William Cowan. He was the NLRB regional director in LA and was a board member. Wow. Let's see. What are his positions though? What are William Cowan's positions on labor generally? Cowan. Political positions. I just want to see live with all of you. That way we can see. All right. So laborunion.com's Substack says that, hold on. Yeah, I mean, so unfortunately, the NLRB still lacks a quorum to actually issue new decisions, it seems. So I mean, that's the thing is, he's like a long time like I guess at the least, like he's not like some kind of like MAGA like wing bat. He actually has been with the NLRB in different capacities since like the 80s. So I don't know. I guess that's not the literal worst thing ever, but it's appointed by Trump, so it's probably not doing the it's probably not the best. Let me see here. Eccentric Dream says the way that Trump rolled back the tariffs so fast, more reason why more people just need to hold the line and quit it with the bending the knee immediately. Yeah, for sure. I mean, Trump is like a massive pussy, man. I mean, like Trump truly does bend really, really easy. To the point where he even breaks. It's the people who surround Trump that are clearly pushing him in a million directions that make me more nervous, who don't break as easy. You know what I mean? Like that Ken Roberts guy who runs the Heritage Foundation, like that dude doesn't break. That dude has gotten like ugly with reporters before. He has openly celebrated reporters like getting harassed and beat up. Like, I fear that guy more than I fear Trump. Stick person says could be worse, I guess. Yeah, for sure. The guy who's been appointed to the NLRB is like definitely someone to be concerned about because it's like a Republican on the NLRB. But like, I don't know. I mean, like at least it's not like fucking Tom Cotton. You know what I'm saying? Or an equivalent. First name bunch number says, oh my God, a corn pot. Yes, it is. Back to service, you little colonels, once more. Sick person says, I'm literally in the middle of a ULP suit with Amazon as well as a joint employer arbitration. Well, better prepare to lose, man. I don't know. Or at least I hope you have the money for private counsel, because I mean, like the NLRB is not going to be here to help workers for the foreseeable future. First name bunch number says, thank you for serving us, Corn Papa. You're welcome, first name bunch numbers. I appreciate that greatly. I unfortunately took 4 days off, but I took a nice vacation down to the state where I used to live for a couple days, so I didn't stream from Friday through Sunday. But I came back as soon as I could. Okay. Okay. Sick person says doing it with the Teamsters. Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool. You know what really sucks to know, guys, is that in the same lawsuit that Amazon, oh God, we brought back the corn papa cuck chair. Oh my God. Hi, Jinx. I hope that writing your play is going well. What was I gonna say? You know what really sucks is knowing that in the same lawsuit where Amazon is trying to like literally get rid of the NLRB from a constitutional perspective, Trader Joe's is one of the other plaintiffs in that lawsuit. Like that, like they're like co-filers on the lawsuit that is trying to trying to get the Supreme Court to rule the NLRB itself is just like an unconstitutional creation as a result of the New Deal, which is just so wild. Because most people think about Trader Joe's and they're just like, oh, pot stickers, not like, oh, no more overtime. Let me see. Jinx says you've been gone. I had to. Good point, Jinx. Good point. And I'm glad that your playwriting is going very well. Junior says, Corn Papa. Hello, Junior. I hope that you're doing well tonight as well. Tonight I'm likely to stream for a little bit less time. I'm probably only going to stream for half an hour, y'all, just to be honest, because I did not prepare any talking points, and I'm realizing that I think and you know what, I would love for you, the 10 of you who are here, I would love if you guys would give me some opinions to this idea I have. I think I'm going to start my streams each time from now on with like 15 minutes of like kind of prepared talking about some interesting stuff I read in the news that day, or if there's like a general theme of things that I had seen that day. I think I'm just going to prepare some remarks, and then also I'm going to do like probably 5 minutes of like rapid fire, just like, hey, here's just some stuff I like generally saw, but I didn't have a lot of time to prepare anything for. And then after that, it would be more of just like 30 to 40 minutes of just hanging out with the chat. And I think the reason for this is because the initial like 15 minutes of this stream is I'm realizing now that I've done it for 7 or 8 times. I'm realizing that it's very hard to get myself up and running. And truth be told, like unless I have some kind of drinkable substance, you know what I mean? And I just don't like that. I don't like having the dead air. I don't like having the kind of trying to find a groove about what it is I want to talk about. I'd rather come prepared to the streams. Junior says, I think that would be an awesome model, actually. Lots more structure. Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you, Junior. Chloe Cat says, yes, lectures from Dr. Corn Pop. That's Dr. Pop. Thank you. All right. Dr. Corn Pop was my father. Get it? Come correct. All right, Chloe. I'm just fucking with y'all. But yeah, I mean, there were definitely a lot of like really interesting pieces of news today that I honestly, with the amount that I like had scrolled on TikTok today, although I actually scrolled, I think you guys would be proud of me for this. I actually scrolled way less today than I normally do. I think total I have scrolled maybe like an hour and a half or so, maybe 2 hours today between the morning and evening. Jinx says, Corn Pop, I run a theater company, so my plays is actually getting produced is more likely than the average playwright. If I invited you to any of them, would you go? Oh my God, absolutely. What the fuck? I would love to come to your play. That's crazy, dude. Chloe Cat says, sorry, I'm just a newbie Colonel. Forgive me. No, it's okay, Chloe. Listen, not every Colonel. Every Colonel takes its time to pop. You know what I'm saying? I'm Corn Pop. You guys all can graduate from Colonels to Kern Pops. You know what I'm saying? Junior says, on the last live, I remember the news dropped about the DC plane crash. Yeah, dude. Oh my God. And then the next day, Trump blamed it on DEI. I know, man. That shit was crazy, partially because of the fact, wait, Jinx says also my colonel in the chat who would want to, also any colonel in the chat who would want to can come too. That's so nice. Oh my gosh, Jinx. Y'all drop some corn emojis for Jinx for being such a wonderful community-oriented playwright. That's fantastic. Junior, to your point, I think that Trump deciding to blame the plane crash and DEI, that to me was actually a really big moment for his like first month in the presidency, because it was clear from then on that like, oh, this guy does not have the mandate for just like culture war nonsense that he thinks he does. Because the level of pure rage that came from individual voters out of him saying that, all the way up to elected politicians, even of like other MAGA people, albeit on a lower power level than like a senator, but like there were MAGA influencers even who were veterans who were like, oh, that's fucking stupid, dude. Don't say that. Like, why are you saying that? And that was actually kind of good to see. I really hate the tragedy, of course, because I don't want to think about anybody dying on a plane crash or dying unnecessarily at all. But like, man, oh man, it was really hilarious to see Trump just like kind of eat shit verbally for like no reason. He's the king of own goals. It's just that the opposition party of the Democrats don't really seem to know how to like convert own goals into like own losses. You know what I'm saying? Um, Oh my God. Speaking of which, by the way, I opened the stream by talking about Doge and about how we like literally know the names of all the people who are helping Elon Musk just like delete whole sub departments of the government. One thing I thought was really newsworthy that I did want to talk about with y'all is the USA protest. Yes, Junior, the children, exactly. The like 19 to 24-year-olds. I wanted to talk about the US aid protests that happened today outside of the Ronald Reagan building in Washington, D.C. They happened at like 1 p.m. today. And what happened is there were almost 100 federal workers who blocked the entrance to the Ronald Reagan building in DC with their bodies. And when members of Doge tried to actually enter the building, the protesters, the 100 of them, literally just blocked them and refused to let them inside. And those people went home. Like the people from Doge, they just left. They just like stopped trying to get into the building. And it was so fantastic to see that that was the outcome of that. And I feel very, very heartened by the fact that there at least seems to be a form of protest based resistance that is able to achieve an end besides just the protest happening at all. You know, yes, Junior, I agree completely because those people absolutely can and probably will come under increased scrutiny, especially now that the U.S. attorney for D.C., which has just been instated by Trump, has openly said that people who target Doge employees will be subject to prosecution. So almost certainly some of these people who organize that protest will come under fire and potentially even face jail time. But knowing that they are willing to incur a punishment at all, but like for the duty that they have as federal workers, I think is like very, very inspiring, genuinely. First name bunch of numbers says regarding Doge, I can't express how much I hate that he gave a meme name to a fucking government department. Yeah, dude. I think it's just so ridiculous. And I also think that it is again, I have to bring this back to Democrats and their ineffectualness and their fecklessness. Like Musk is a private citizen, dude. Like, I mean, okay. Trump's White House said today that Musk is technically a special employee of the government. Well, until it's made official, like in writing, that's like not true. And Democrats are using like norms against themselves now. They're like, oh, well, if the president says that he's a special government employee, then we have to treat him like a government employee. But it's like government employees also get arrested for fucking treason, dude. They also get arrested for being a national security threat through how it is they are trying to carry out the duties of their job. If a federal employee chose to give special access to government IT buildings and then let individuals who are not getting security clearances set up private servers that access payment network information for Social Security and Medicaid and Medicare, that government employee who enabled that breach of data security would go to prison. They would get fired and they would likely get arrested. Like the fact that Democrats choose to let Trump intimidate them, knowing that there are how many, literally hundreds of elected Democrat representatives and senators who, if they wanted to, could make a massive, massive media appearance out of getting all 160 plus, or no, all what is it, like 280 plus of them, okay, to go literally march from the Capitol building down to the Ronald Reagan building and stand in solidarity with the federal workers. Like they could do that, right? There is leadership that has the same potential for their neurons and their synapses to fire in the same fucking pattern mine just did, right? They could think of that and they would get media coverage, but they didn't do that. They let the federal workers hold the line for them, which is like their strategy, I guess. But at the same time, you got DNC staffers on Blue Sky talking about, oh my God, why is it that you can only find information about the US aid protests on C-SPAN? Because it wasn't covered on MSNBC or CNN. It was only covered on Blue Sky by independent journalists who were there and on TikTok by people like Aaron Parnas and then on C-SPAN. And the answer why that doesn't get covered, the answer why it is that there doesn't seem to be any fucking momentum, any inertia towards resistance that moves past this moment we're in right now is because elected Democrats, I'm sorry, literally would rather sit with their thumbs up their asses than ever risk having their faces shown doing the resistance because they're afraid of Trump and they're afraid of what Trump might do to them, which is fair. But all the while they are afraid of him, they are giving him the time and the runway to build even more institutional power that will let him weaponize the government against them towards prosecution and, let's be real, execution of some of them. Like they don't seem to get that, like, you can't defang the lion once it's grown out its fucking canines. Like You have to defang it while it's growing up. Like, oh my God. Let me see here. Uh, Jane Armstead says, it's crazy to me how people are defending prices getting higher from tariffs because it's temporary, but they're talking about it being worse than it is now. But the economy, right? Yeah, I mean, I know, Jaden. It really, really sucks a lot because ultimately speaking, like the people who are doom spreaders about tariffs on public platforms, which I tried very, very hard to not do this on TikTok. And I think I did a good job of like not spreading unnecessary doom about tariffs publicly. Privately, I was freaking the fuck out about them, but publicly, I did not make too many videos about it at all. And even then, I only ever talked about what would happen if they went into effect. But it sucks because the people who are like doom spreaders about tariffs get delegitimized when Trump is able to pull these like Uno reverse cards in tandem with other world leaders backing him up and giving him these like easy wins because they don't want the US doing this shit either, So people who want to like talk about the real effects that tariffs will have just look like fucking idiots, right? And they look like chicken littles. But the people who also want to just like deny that tariffs do what they do, like kind of get ever more runway to just spread bullshit misinformation the longer that tariffs don't happen the way that the doomsayer said they would. So it just becomes this like infinite cycle of poison on people's ability to comprehend what a tariff latent US economy would do. And so then it gets harder for people to take any messaging that is trying to like counter program them against liking tariffs seriously at all. It sucks so much. Junior says the Dems, as they are, will never get off their ass. I mean, yeah, dude. And first name bunch of numbers has it exactly correct. Just watching things happen. Yeah, man. Like that's all they know how to do. Junior says, question to older people because I was a child. How different does this Trump administration feel as compared to the first? Okay, so I don't know if I would say I am older necessarily, but you say you were a child when Trump was first elected. So here's what I would say. When I was when Trump was first in office, I was 19 and Trump's first 2 years especially felt like really, really stiff peaks of chaos and then really, really low lows of just kind of like monotonous evil. um like you would just hear insane shit and then it would crash down because things just like wouldn't happen, and then there would kind of be like these ever gnawing senses of agony that would just like eat away at your stomach about the fact that like somehow nothing was getting done, but also the things that were getting done were like horrific. And then there would be another stiff peak of chaos, right? So it was like it was almost like drinking espresso that's like way too much for you in the morning on an empty stomach, and also you drank a lot the night before, but you never feel not nauseous enough to eat, and there's no nourishment or water that is available to you, but then the only thing that's available to you is more espresso. That's kind of how I would say bodily it felt. Maybe that's why I have GERD. It's because of Trump. Trump gave me GERD. Spread that in the presses. Am Jones 4546 says, "What are we feeling about the new DNC chair?" I think the new DNC chair is a good pick for the DNC at this moment in one way, which is that this person is 50 or 51, so he's not literally dying. So that's cool. I also think that he's a good pick in the fact that he's from a Midwest state that actually has gotten a lot of really good policy done in terms of progressive ideas, at least making it into the legislation. And I think that's good. And I'm also glad that he has the support of Tim Walz and Amy Klobuchar, because it's good to have allies in high places and all. Where I think that he is bad for the Democratic Party, because he is bad in some ways, is that he also has said some really stupid shit, like that there are good billionaires that the Democratic Party just needs to find and align themselves with. And I also think that he doesn't really speak very specifically in a way that I would like him to about how it is that the Democratic Party is going to solve its messaging problem, beyond just like him saying, yeah, we just got to speak to working class issues. But it's like, well, I mean, you can have good messaging, but if the offer itself sucks and people know it sucks, then like the messaging is only going to matter so much. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't really matter if your ad copy is like super great if like the thing that you're selling ultimately is something that makes someone's life a little bit worse, just slower than the other people. Like that's not a great message. It's kind of like two restaurants are trying to compete and one's like, hey, come to the throw up bucket. Well, it's like great, I guess. First in bunch of numbers says it feels different and much scarier because everything feels way more calculated and planned. People on the far right were learning how to manage him for their goals. They're efficient and prepared. Meaning that, oh wait, hold on. Sorry, guys. I think I went out for a second. First name bunch of numbers says it feels different and much scarier because everything feels way more calculated and planned. People on the far right were learning how to manage him for their goals. They're efficient and prepared, meaning that they're learning how to use him in. They were learning how to use him in 2016, and now they know, and there are more of them in higher positions now. I completely agree with this first name bunch of numbers. Absolutely. Jinx says, I was the same age as Corn Pop during Trump's first term, and the biggest difference is that he didn't know how to do the job at all last time, and this time he has an idea of how to be a bit more effective. Yeah, and Junior, I would say that like the only other thing that I would add on to what first name bunch of numbers and Jinx has said, is that like Trump was directly trying to be the executive last time. I don't think that's the case this time. Like, it's not just that he has acolytes around him who are more skilled that are helping him do the job and be president. In 2016 and also in 2020, if he had won, Trump wanted to be the president. He wanted to be the executive who was like making shit happen. And that part specifically was very important to him. Trump wanted to be seen as the person who not only got the deals done for legislation in Congress, he wanted to be seen as the person who architected the deals and then brokered them and then signed them. That is not the case this time. Trump is more than happy this time to let the acolytes, the fundamentalists, and the technocrats who surround him write the legislation alongside MAGA staffers who, when they were like 12 when they were like 12 or 13, he had just been elected, right? And now they've like grown up in households and districts that really love him and have grown up to be their own kind of disciples, you know. He's happy to let all these people work together to deliver him legislation that's ready to sign. And like, he doesn't really care like about the particulars of it. He just cares that like he's seen as getting wins for anybody. Trump this time has been like remarkably more absent, actually. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but like, I remember in 2017 when he first came in, it was impossible to not see Trump every day. The motherfucker was a microphone whore. Okay. Constantly talking about stuff that had been done, constantly talking about stuff that was going to be done. He was on radio shows, he was on television, he was holding press conferences. Like that dude was ubiquitous. Okay. He had great what's that? He was very telegenic, you know, and he was very yeah, he was just very obsessed with being seen and talking a lot. This time, though, it's like not the same. This time, Trump is only really showing up in very, very limited appearances where press happens to catch him, it seems. And then even then, it's like in very small amounts of time. And he's mostly just like saying prepared stuff. Trump isn't like nearly as much of a gaffe machine this time either. I don't know. It's definitely different. I'm going to say that it's definitely different. First name bunch of numbers says he also knows he's felt no consequences yet. Yeah, 100%. Absolutely agree. Junior says, thank you guys for your perspective. Everyone online is generally saying this term is so much worse, but I wasn't cognizant during the first. Let me see here. Junior says, really? I feel like every day in the news, I open it and I feel like I'm being slapped in the face by executive orders. So real. Slendy says he was on Twitter until 3 a.m. every night watching Hannity. Yeah, 100%. Jinx says it was awful the first few weeks of his first term. Like a new baby was brought home, but it was literally Rosemary's. That's so funny. Slendy says he would call into Fox News all the time. Yeah, dude. I mean, for real. I think also like one of the biggest differences between this term and last term, Junior, just to like try and put as clean of a nail as I can in your question, is to kind of echo what first name bunch number said. Trump this time seems to carry himself with the knowledge that nothing he does will actually matter in terms of being held to account. Like Trump moved anxiously last time. He really did. I mean, he came out with a lot of bluster and a lot of bravado. I'm not saying he didn't, but Trump seemed to know last time that he at least was going to be held to the standard of having to win the next election. And he also seemed to understand that he needed allies in Congress to want to work with him, and that could change within 2 years for the midterms in 2018 very rapidly. And so he moved differently. But this time, Trump does not have any fucking like misgivings about it. Trump now is 100% in the camp of like, oh, I don't have to worry about winning another election because I might die before then. And also like, I could just rig it. 2, nobody in Congress is going to go against me. Nobody. I do not have a single enemy who is relevant in the Republican Party at all. And then 3, yes, to Slendy's point, the Supreme Court was not all set in stone at that point either. There was plenty of ability to check Trump last time. So, yeah, I mean, it's different this time for sure. Everybody, I'm going to say this is my last minute hosting tonight. If I stream tomorrow, I will let people know on TikTok ahead of time. And then also, regardless, I will anytime I stream, any day I stream going forward, I will remember to post on TikTok that I will stream that night, and then also I will prepare some remarks so that the first 15 minutes are a little bit more structured, kind of like a corn cast, if you will. And yes, I will show you all how be. I'm glad that somebody said it. Somebody called him how be. I'm glad you guys picked up on the names. Yes, Howdard. Yes, I'll bring up Howdard. Howdy, come here, Wubba. Oh, he's a sleepy man. Oh, oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Mwah. Everybody, as I always ask you here in this last minute, please rate this stream 1 through 10. You are Corn Papa. You are Corn Dogga. Please rate the stream 1 through 10. 1 is I cannot believe I gave you any of my time, Corn Pop, and 10 is I would give you all of my time, Corn Papa. And if your number is less than 7, please let me know what you wish I would do differently next time. I will wait for the ratings to roll in and engage with them as best as I can. Jinx says 7 out of 10. Oh my gosh. Why, Jinx? Why is it 7 out of 10 this time? Eccentric Dreams says solid 10. Make sure to get rest and enjoy your evening. Thank you, Eccentric Dreams. I appreciate you. Jinx is over here saying 7 out of 10 just because they hate people with big noses, I guess. I don't know. That seems just kind of rude, you know. Junior says 8 out of 10 short. I'm 5'7". I'm not even that short. Jinx says because it's a short one and I'm selfish. Oh, that's fair. Slendy says 10. Always love tuning in. Thank you, Slendy. Junior says ethic features. Great. Thanks, Junior. Appreciate that. I appreciate that. Junior says, damn, bro, I meant the stream. Well, I revealed my height to y'all, so I guess now you guys can call me Short Papa. All right, well, that's fair. I guess a 7 out of 10 is fair since I did make it a short stream. Unless anybody else has any last comments, suggestions, concerns, or questions, I am going to wait. First name bunch of numbers says, bro's asking for opinions to say, I can't believe you hate me to bad reviews. Sam absolutely melted my ass. Jinx says, why did I think that you were 6 feet? I'm a whole person. I have only 2 feet. Thank you. First name bunch of numbers says, I loved it though. Short and sweet. Call me Sabrina Carpenter, I guess. Corn Papa is 6'1" in my heart, says Junior. Oh, thank you, Junior. I really appreciate that. I give all my wait, Jinx is bad pun, docking point. That's fair, Jinx. That's very fair. I love all of you. Give my heart out to all of you. Goodbye, my little kernels. Corn Papa, love you. Sleep tight in your husks.